Section VI. Our encouragement to prayer taken from certain examples recorded in sacred and profane history. The manner in which persons of different political sentiments may address the deity. Should it be questioned whether the deity, though able, is willing to assist. Whether prayer is like to avail for averting an impending evil and for procuring the divine favor, we reply, the expedient has been frequently tried and met with success. The case of the Jews in the time of King Hezekiah is a striking example of it. For particulars, we request my reader to peruse the 37th of Isaiah. The case of the same people, when Judea was a province of the Persian Empire, is also to the point in hand. The historical marvelous fact to which I refer is to be found in Josephus. Credit has been given to this relation by authors of the first repute, such as Dean Pridox and Dr. Newton, the present Bishop of Bristol, when, says the historian, Alexander was engaged in the siege of Tyre. He sent to Jadua the Jewish high priest, who had the immediate government of that people under the Persian monarch, for auxiliary troops and necessaries for his army. Jadua and the Jews pleaded their oath to Darius as an excuse for not obeying Alexander's commands. Alexander, being greatly incensed, resolved to take a severe revenge. As soon, therefore, as he had made himself master of Tyre and of Gaza, he marched against Jerusalem. In this distress, Jadua the high priest and the Jews made their earnest addresses to the deity. Hereupon Jadua was directed in a vision of the night to go out and meet the conqueror in his pontifical robes, with the priests attending him in their proper habits, and all the people in white. The next day, agreeable to the divine direction, Jadua, the priests and people went out in solemn procession to meet the conqueror. As soon as the king saw Jadua, he hastened towards him, and bowed down with a religious veneration of that sacred name which was inscribed on the golden fillet round his tiara. While all stood amazed at this extraordinary behavior, Parmenio alone ventured to inquire of Alexander why he, who was adored by all, should himself pay such devotions to the Jewish high priest. Alexander replied, he did not pay it to the high priest, but to the God whose priest he was, for that when he was at Dio in Macedonia, and was deliberating how he should carry on the war against the Persians, this very person, in the very habit he now wore, appeared to him in a dream, and encouraged him to pass over into Asia, assuring him that God would give him the Persian Empire. Having said this, Alexander gave his hand to Jadua, and entered Jerusalem with him in a very friendly manner, and under his direction offered sacrifices to God in the temple. Here Jadua showed him the prophecies of Daniel, which predicted the overthrow of the Persian Empire by a Grecian king, at which he was so pleased that he ordered the Jews to request whatever was agreeable to them. Upon this Jadua petitioned that they might enjoy their own laws and religion, and be excused from paying tribute every 7th year, because in that year they neither sowed nor reaped, all which he freely granted. The credibility of the above story might be inferred from this extraordinary kindness shewn by Alexander towards the Jews, for which we cannot otherwise easily account. The attentive reader will not consider me quoting these cases as exactly parallel to our own, but they are merely offered as examples for our imitation and encouragement in a ceylon of perplexity and distress, and to prove that prayer has been found an excellent mean when used by others for obtaining the divine protection, and therefore 'tis reasonably presumed may be followed with very happy effects with respect to ourselves is preferred with a suitable temper. Would to God that Britons in general were inclined to make the experiment. My dear countrymen, do you not behold the arm of the Almighty lifted up? Do you not see him brandishing his flaming sword, and who is sure of escaping its edge? Let Britons then not only once but repeatedly send up their humble and importunate addresses to heaven for averting the consequences of the divine displeasure. For if in the present critical juncture we neglect prayer, which is the medium appointed by God for conveying his mercies to us, where is our belief of a superintending providence? Where is the correspondence between our professed faith and practice? Or where is our compassion for our fellow subjects who are hazarding their lives in this doleful dispute? Or where is our pity to ourselves? Should it be asked in what manner we are to address the deity on the present occasion, the answer I return from myself, which will scarcely be objected to by any moderate man, is, let us pray for peace, that such a peace may take place between us and our brethren in Timrica as may be for the interest of religion, the true honor and happiness of our king, and the welfare of the whole British Empire. By addressing these petitions to the great governor of the world, are we not giving the best proof of loyalty to Allah? As this tract may chance to fall into the hands of some who live in the habitual neglect of prayer, I would beg leave to put such in mind of the arguments that have been advanced by one and another for the practice of it. Prayer, by which we express our dependence upon God, is a duty not only enjoined by the gospel, and which Christ recommended to us by his own treatise, but likewise a duty to which we are called by the plainest dictates of reason, by the general practice of all mankind, a duty by the exercise of which an intercourse is carried on between the deity and the souls of good men, which is productive of the noblest pleasure. 'Tis a mean for improvement in religion, and in short, though God cannot be informed by it, yet we are to remember that it is the grand medium that divine wisdom has appointed for conveying his benefits to us. See Price on prayer. See 3 Prince, regard for our country, and love for ourselves. But is this the whole of our duty? No, sirs, there must be also a forsaking of sin and practicing righteousness. Otherwise we cannot expect success to attend our request to God. The great sovereign of the earth hath joined these things together. Therefore let us not attempt to separate them. If I send a pestilence, says he, among my people, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I bear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal their land. 2 Chron. Theai 14. A disregard to this momentous point rendered the offerings and prayers of the Jews not only vain but hateful. Isaiah I. May we then, my dear sirs, whilst entreating the favor of God towards the British Empire, humbly confess our iniquities, which have been the procuring cause of our public calamities, and use our best endeavors, not forgetting to seek divine assistance towards a reformation. A reformation at this time how very necessary, for if we consult the ancient, such who have been long in our world, they will inform us that some of the vices just mentioned in the beginning of this tract have within their remembrance made a rapid progress. Nay, cannot persons of middle age bear witness to the swift growth of this and the other immorality, melancholy omen of approaching ruin? But were vice in the same state amongst us in which it was several years ago, yet, considering our nation under the view of a moral person, we are in greater danger of the desolating judgments of God now than formerly. How is the danger increased then by the preceding circumstances? What is likely to prevent our ruin except speedy reformation and prayer? Reformation and prayer are the remedies proposed, and that they may be immediately taken.